If you have a spreadsheet with a whole bunch of columns, I'm going to show you how to get rid of all of those columns. If we look right here at this spreadsheet that I'm tracking, you'll see name, department, and email. But for each of these folks, I'm also tracking the projects that they're managing and their training and their certification. So right here, you can see I'm tracking project one status, project one deadline, and project one budget. I'm doing the same thing for project two. Then I'm tracking whether or not they completed training, the training date of that training, the training score, and their certification status and date. So right now, I'm tracking multiple things. I'm tracking their projects and their training. And I guess you could say certification too. So three things: their projects, their training, and their certifications. Those are three categories of things. And under normal circumstances, many people do this. They put all types of information inside of a spreadsheet for whatever reason. Pardon me. I'm not going to knock you on doing that, but I will say that if you find yourself with a whole bunch of columns, I would tell you to get out of the spreadsheet and use SharePoint, because you can use views to break up all of those columns and view them in a more digestible way. And I'll show you how to do that now. Okay, so what we want to do is we have our data inside of a table. We'll go to table design. We'll go to export this table to a SharePoint list. We'll put the site. We'll call this the employee project and training tracker. So we'll call it the EPAT for short. I'll show you why we did that here in a second. And in the description, we can say this is the employee training and, it's actually, the employee project and training tracker. Then we hit next. And now we can see all of our columns are in here properly formatted. The deadline is date. The budget is currency. The status is, just a text. And I actually have project one deadline misspelled. So let me go back and fix that real quick. Okay, all good to go. We have our columns. We see they're formatted properly where it says data type, very important. And then we will click finish. Okay, so you can see here that we have completed the upload. It was pretty quick. And this is the link to go there. Now, I'm not going to click on it because my default browser is a different browser, but I will open the site. And you can see here we're now at the Accountants Hub, which is where I published this. What I'm going to do is look at the site contents, and there's my list, the EPAT. So I'm going to click on the EPAT. Now, let me tell you why I called it the EPAT. Because if you look up here at the URL, it says EPAT, EPATT. That is the URL for this list. But I'm going to change this name to Employee Project and Training Tracker. So now that I've done that, I have the name that makes sense, but my URL says EPATT, which is, I want a clean URL. I don't want the URL with this long name and the spaces in it. So now that I've done that, you can see that this is all the stuff that we had inside of the spreadsheet. It's now inside of SharePoint, and there's a couple things that we want to do to clean it up. Okay, so first you can see it kind of looks like a grid, like a spreadsheet, right? So I'm going to change that real quick. I'm just going to come out of exit grid view. I'm going to hit exit grid view. And then when I do that, you can see that an asterisk shows up right there, which means that I have changed something. So I'm just going to hit save view as, hit save again. And now what this does, it takes it out of the grid view and then keeps it in a list view. So if I want to go back to the grid view, I actually have to click this, edit in grid view. Next, I'm going to make this a little bit easier to see. I always like to hit format the current view. And when I do that, I click this first one, alternate in style rows. So now you see gray, white. And then I hit save. All right, now I hit close. Now, the first thing I want to do is create a new view. And the way that I could do that is just by coming here to all items, create a new view, and then I'm going to call this project status without a what do you call that? Without a space. So when I create that new view, I lose my formatting again. So let me just format the current view, hit the gray, white, and all that. You know what I mean? Hit save, hit close. All right. So now I have my right here. It says project status view. First thing I'm going to do is add or remove some fields because I only care about my project fields. So I don't care about certification, training, or any of those things. I just care about my project status, deadline, and budget. So then I hit apply. And now you can see I only have the information from my projects. So project 1, deadline, status, and budget. Project 2, status, deadline, and budget. So I could do that. This is my project status view. So I could hit save view as. And now I have that, right? So now if I go back to the all items view, then you can see I have everything back in here. But maybe I want to create another view. So I create new view and I call this training and cert. Or just let's call it training. We can just call it training and then hit create. So now you can see the name of my view is training. I'm going to come and format this again. It always takes away my gray white, which I don't like. Hit close. And then I'm going to hit this drop down again and go to add or remove fields. This time I'm taking away the project fields. Now I just want training and certification. I hit apply. And look, it removed everything. Now I just have my training and certification. And that's it. Listen, I can use these views all kinds of ways. You see how I made that training view? That training view has a unique URL. So does the project status view. It has a unique URL that when you take that URL and click on it and you go to that URL, it goes to that exact view. So our list right now has an all items view, a project view. I think I call it project status. I don't remember. Project view and a training view, and each of them has a unique URL. So if I wanted to take a button and put it on a page, on a SharePoint page, and that button says training status, that button, if you click on it, will take you directly to that view. These are the kinds of things you can do with views that you cannot do on a spreadsheet. So even if, let's say your boss only cared about the project status, or your boss only cared about the projects that were not complete, like what are the open projects? So you can go to create another view, call it open projects, save it as open projects, and now you have a unique URL, and you could send that URL to your boss and tell your boss when they're looking for that information, just click on it. Or maybe your boss has a dashboard and you've put this link on your boss's dashboard. You can go crazy with all the things that you're doing. But for right now, I just wanted to show you how views are better, how views can help you reduce the amount of spreadsheet columns or the columns that you have in your spreadsheet. Follow me on LinkedIn if you want to know more.